to kill ads, spawns totems we run boss through. After 4 or 5 totems, boss stops and we pump. Run in circles, rinse, repeat.
Rinse and repeat.
It's not even close, right?
It's not even close.
And I even think someone tried to steal your book.
Oh, round of 4.
Bot Rix has correctly joined the channel.
Damn right it has. Oh, round of 4.
Bot Rix has correctly joined the channel.
Damn right it has. Oh, round of 4.
Hello and welcome to the first match of the round of 4 here at ASL Season 17, brought to you by Well New Life Ultimate Custom Prestige Gaming Chairs. With an incredibly fierce round of 8 behind us, we have just 4 players remaining in this season's itinerary. You are now waiting for the match that will determine the first finalist of the season. Today's bout will feature Sharp, once again knocking on the door of the finals after a long while, and Hero, who has been to the round of 4 many a time. Let's now take a look at the journey both of our players took this season to get this far. In the round of 8, Sharp faced off against Best, while Hero went up against Rush, and as both players achieved victory in their respective games, they end up squaring off against each other in the round of 4. Let's also take a look at the focal points for both players. Sharp, having a relatively low win rate against Protoss, ran into Best, a terrific player in PvT. However, executing an elaborate master plan, Sharp managed to get into the round of 4 once again after a long 16 seasons. Hero's round of 8 opponent was not to be taken lightly either. Hero kept losing to Rush in extended series time and time again from the 12th season onward, likewise losing to him in the round of 8 last season and missing out on a seed. However, this time was different, with Hero taking down Rush 3-1 to return to the round of 4. Let's now take a look at Sharp's matchups this season in detail. Sharp advanced to the semi-finals having faced off against Protoss and Terran opponents in the round of 16 as well as the round of 8. While Sharp took down a Zerg in action in the wildcard match, this will be his first time playing a TVZ in this season proper. And now for Hero's matchups this season. Having lost in the round of 8 last season, Hero was once again forced to battle his way through the round of 24 after a long while. Hero faced off against a Terran in every single round. Mine in the round of 24, Royal and Barracks in the round of 16, and Rush in the round of 8, on his way to the semi-finals, where he'll once again square off against a Terran in Sharp. We've taken a look at both players' journey this season as Hero and Sharp are looking to advance to the finals once again after a long spell. Let us take a look at the potential storylines shaping up for both should they advance. And here are the storylines for both players. Now when it comes to Sharp, this would be his second Grand Finals appearance overall, with the last one being 16 seasons ago in the very first ASL proper. Additionally, this would make Sharp tied with Rush in second place for the most Finals appearances among Terran players. For Hero, this would likewise be his second Finals, with the last one being 13 seasons ago in Season 4, making him tied in first place alongside Effort and Zero for the most Finals appearances as a Zerg player. And with Sulky last season, this would give us a Zerg player in the Finals for 2 seasons in a row. We've asked this season's round of 16 competitors to predict the outcome of today's match. Let's take a look at said predictions. Out of the 12 players, 9 expect Hero to make it into the finals, and among those, JYJ and Shuttle expect this series to go the distance. On the other hand, Mong, Barracks and Best expect Sharp to win today, likewise expecting this to be a full set series. Let's also take a look at the viewers' predictions for today's match. Here are the results of a poll running on the Africa TV website up until 7 PM today, with 57% of fans expecting Hero to be making it into the finals. With how close the percentages are, this surely is a match whose outcome is difficult to predict. You are waiting for the start of the first semi-finals match of ASL Season 17, done in partnership with Well New Life Ultimate Custom Prestige Gaming Chairs, with Hero and Sharp knocking on the door of the Grand Finals after a long while, and as we wonder which one of our 2 players will become the first finalist of the season, let's get things going. The long-awaited semi-finals of this ultimately star-studded Season 17 are finally here. Having made it this far, both players are looking to advance to the finals after a very long spell. Let's talk to our 2 competitors up on the stage here today, Sharp and Hero. Sharp. Sharp, those finals of ASL in Season 1 at Seoul's Children Grand Park, you had shown amazing matches to get there, but you ran into Shuttle, who struck you down right then and there. And now, all of those years later, so much time has passed, one could have gone to the army 5 times over. Here in the round of 4. Your form has picked up. This season, out of all of the games that you've ever played, there is talk that this could be your ultimate form. What's happened that you're doing so well? Throughout those years, in any case, whenever I played on stage, I would play my heart out, but my approach to the games was misguided. It was a little difficult to overcome that, but I've managed to do so and I've come this far. So, the Sharp of the past, the Sharp that lost to Shuttle in Season 1, what is the difference between that Sharp and the current Sharp? For starters, I got older, you got older, I have a family, you have a family. My situation has just changed. Oh, there is love in your life now, a loving family. Yes. Hero, you don't have that, do you? Somebody to love, a family to take care of, nobody to make things look up for you. No, wait. You have the support of your fans. Isn't that what's most important? Okay, so Hero. Round of 4, round of 4, round of 4, round of 4, 7 times. 1-time runner-up. 3rd place 3 times. But no victories. Looking at your most recent matches, Seasons 11, 12, 14, 15, and this one, it's been round of 4, round of 4, round of 4. How come you can't win?
Damn.
I would always drop the ball in the moments that mattered the most, so I would always slip up. This time around, I am doing my best so as not to make similar mistakes. And today, I guess I have to go to the final stage. So Hero, today, the best player of the Zhou family name, they both share a surname, will be decided. Sharp's form has gone up by a lot. Seeing him this season, did it occur to you, it wouldn't be easy. This will be difficult. Did anything like that cross your mind at all? Yeah, I saw him play his quarterfinals match and I thought he did really well. And so, to be frank, I don't think he'll be an easy opponent today. But I prepared diligently and I'm confident. You have confidence, you say? Yes. Right, so no chance of you losing then? I might lose 1 or 2 maps. 1 or 2 games and you'll win the rest? Yes. Okay, we've just heard what Hero has to say. Are we losing this one then, Sharp? However you look at it, I am the underdog here. Because my TVZ is yet to be proven. And so I would like to beat Hero and validate my versus Zerg. Well, quite honestly, Hero here is a player with a very scary skill set. You're saying that it might be possible for you. Now, what games do you think will unfold today? Well, it won't be an easy match. A difficult match, yes. Regardless, I think I might come out victorious today. And the score then? If things go well for me, 4-1, 4-2, a 4-1 or 4-2, you say? Yes. Hero, Sharp is saying he might win 4-1 or 4-2. Right. What if you win the first game? If I win the first game, I would say a conservative 4-0. 4-0. What if you, Sharp, win the first set? Well then, I'll say the same. If I win the first game, we're looking at a 4-0. 4-0 here, 4-0 there. I wonder who indeed will be the 0 today. We are waiting for this ultimate showdown between the Tor family name players, again, surname reference. As we look to see who goes to the finals, please give a warm round of applause as we kick off the round of 4.
첫 번째 대결 프로토스 한종족전만 극복을 해낸다면은
캐란전의 최고의 퍼스는 보여주기.
커맨드를 이거 숨겼어요 일부러. 조기석식 낚여먹기가 진화됐어요. 한술 더 떴습니다. 저거 벌쳐. 또 들어와요. 또 들어와요. 이렇게 계속 느릴 수가 있을까? 코넥서스 의지를 꺾어놓고 있어요.
벌처 움직임 너무 좋아요.
와 벌처로 다 잡아먹었습니다.
경기 준비 기가 막히게 해왔어요.
대화가 안 돼요.
진정한 마원 마인드로 시제 돌아온 마원. 조일장과 유영진 선수의 대결. 유영진 선수가 압도하고 있습니다.
결승을 유영진 때문에 2번 못 갔다라는 거. 배트를 싹쓸이를 했습니다. 그러니까 뽑은 울트라로 달리기 시작을 했는데
오엽이에요, 오엽.
네.
잘 됐습니다.
지금 물 만났거든요. 드론 다 찍었어요 지금. 상당히 변칙적인 저구의 운영이.
야, 서로 바꿔주자. 네, 지금 난전으로. 지지. 그동안의 천전으로 연결해서 유영진 선수 격파하고 4강 진출. 그 오랜 시간 동안의 도전, 그 노력들이 오늘 이 성과를 얻어내게 됐고 정말 오랜만에 4강 무대에 올라가서 이 꿈을 펼쳐준 조기석 선수예요.
결승전 올라가는 선수를 화려하게 빛내주는 이런 역할만 해주던 게 조일장이었거든요. 결의가 좀 느껴지는 마지막 카운터 펀치가 아니었나.
I can't carry anymore.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to the ASL Round of 4, Day 1. It's going to be an insane match today. I'm super excited about the two players we've got here, Artosis.
Oh, yeah, this is going to be so much fun. Of course, Hero is our player who has been the most consistent over the history of ASL. It's stranger to see a round of 4 without him than with him. And then Sharp having maybe the season of his life, right? Like, since everyone got really good after Season 1, where I think the highest he's really generally made is sometimes round of 8, but he is killing it this season.
Yeah, he's a player I wasn't really thinking about as a round of 4 contender. He's gotten this far. He's now a little bit of a dark horse compared to the other players that have made it to this moment. He played incredibly well in the round of 8, but this is going to be a really tough one. I think everybody has to agree that Hero should be the favorite here.
Yes, absolutely. You know, I love Sharp. He is playing out of his mind, but this is a different matchup, and this goes against all of Sharp's strengths and kind of abuses his weaknesses. If he wins this, he's a completely new Terran, and we have to rethink the landscape of who the best Terran in the world is. You know, this is a best of 7, and I mean, 7 games, you're really going to figure out who's better at this matchup here tonight.
Yeah, best of 7s historically didn't really exist in StarCraft 1. This is sort of a carryover here from StarCraft 2, but it's a lot of games for StarCraft 1. So, I mean, the better player will come out on top. If Sharp's going to win here, he has to have a very good, solid foundation of TVZ. I don't think this is one where you can have a couple weird builds and sneak through. There's just too many possible games.
Yeah, and you can see here, Sharp technically has a better win rate against Zerg. Don't let that fool you. Like, that is a false statistic. Hero is better at this matchup than Sharp. They're like, you know, Hero's losses here, they're against like JYJ, Light, Flash, Royal, right? The very strongest Terran vs. Zerg players ever to have existed. So, you know, they haven't played each other yet in the ASL. But I am seriously worried for Sharp, man. Like, this is his weakest matchup. Is he going to be able to pull out enough to actually do this here? Has he even won best of 5s against Zergs? And it looks like, yeah, I guess he won in in the very first season, the preseason of ASL. He won one, but that was it.
Yeah, look, this is going to be a tough one. I mean, we got some really scary Zergs here between you know, the likes of Hero and Sulky. Hero, kind of one of these insurmountable Zergs.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem to have any obvious flaws.
Yeah.
Even his style of play in general can be hard to track onto. Like, he can kind of do whatever he wants, but he's one of these Zergs that doesn't really take a whole lot of risks and just never really gets behind.
Yes, that's a really good way to put it. Okay, so Terran vs. Zerg is really different than Terran vs. Terran and Terran vs. Protoss. In Terran vs. Protoss and Terran, you can kind of just play a really solid game, and that's going to give you very good chances. Against a Zerg player like Hero or a Zerg player like Sulky, these god-tier macro Zergs, you can't wait for your opponent to make a mistake. You have to force the mistake. And you have to force the mistake by being unbelievably clean. You know, like, you have to think about the way that you see JYJ or Light play, where it's like, okay, this macro is basically perfect, they're basically everywhere, and something's gonna break. Sharp is not really like that. He's a very good Zerg, I mean, Zerg killer, but like, he doesn't have that level of clean mechanical skill as those other Terrans, and he is not a super technical Zerg killer like Royal, right? Like, Royal would be here tonight, and you'd be like, oh, I have 3 builds that have never been seen that I am going to try to kill him with. That's not Sharp either. Sharp is just a middle-of-the-road TVZ player, plays a very solid game, and that's enough to beat most Zergs, but when you get to the top of the world, I don't think it is anymore, and I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong, but I'm really favoring Hero here.
I like what you said about JYJ and Royal there. Those are two guys on very different ends of the spectrum as far as build orders go. Yeah, Royal could probably come out with a couple of weird openers and do some obtuse things and maybe win the game. And JYJ just fundamentally can hang with any Zerg.
Yeah.
He's able to basically, you know, brute force games with just good control with his Marines, good usage of his science vessels. Sharp, look, I would love to have an upset here. We see some support for him in the audience right now. The problem is that, you know, Hero probably, I would be surprised if in even one game he does any kind of weird, cheesy thing. I think he's just going to play macro, just be solid, not get behind. I like that sign from Canada. Good to see you in the audience. And so that's the tricky part. Now, we got a lot of people coming from all over the place. From the Czech Republic. You know he's old school because he's using those the carrot face emojis there. So yeah, I mean, it's hard for me to imagine a best of 7 where Sharp comes out on top.
Yeah.
And you know, Hero, he, like you said, he doesn't really take risks. I feel like the riskiest thing I'll see Hero do is maybe go 3-hatch Hydra versus Protoss. But that's like probably the lowest of the risky things that Zergs can do, right?
Yeah. You know, in a best of 7, you have room too, where, you know, he could do a couple like rushing type, more aggressive plays, but he's going to have time to pull out of that. I think on Sharp's side, he has to have this planned really, really well. He should be doing at least a couple 8-racks openers. He should have a BBS in his back pocket. I hope that he's got like a good plan here, because if he plays just solid standard, I think Hero's going to demolish.
All right, guys, we're ready to get this best of 7 going. Remember, the winner of this series will be going on to the ASL Season 17 Finals. Okay, we've got Sharp in the top right, Hero in the top left.
Man, I am excited. Like, I don't want to be like a downer on Sharp. I'm just trying to give like a really honest opinion on who is literally my favorite Terran. And in fact, I even watch his TVZ to improve, because he plays kind of similar to me, like a very standard, like 3 racks after Academy type thing, you know, just like a standard, very good, large net catching Zergs messing up type of strategy. But yeah, he's going to have to play the cleanest games of his life if he's going to take down a Zerg the power of Hero. I actually wonder, Tasteless, if I could ask your opinion as kind of like a Terran versus Zerg outsider. When you watch Hero and you watch Sulky, does one strike you as scarier looking in this matchup?
You know, I think maybe Sulky is a little bit scarier to me in general. The thing about Hero is it's like it's so clean and it's so risk adverse, and there's no obvious thing you can do to beat it. If that makes sense, he's kind of the polar opposite from Mini, or even players like Soma that kind of have these high octane plays. But Sulky is I've always been mystified by how he can just make any fight in the middle of the map look easy. There are so many situations in TVZ where the reality is, depending on each player's control, either side can win. It's not clear cut. Where in some other matchups, you can just look at, like, you know, how many one player has of one unit. You go, well, then this guy will always win, right? No matter what you do to try to micro it. And so that's probably the scariest part. Hero has a lot of games like that too, where he just makes engages in the middle of the map look easy. The thing that scares me most about Sulky is sometimes games just end outright because Terrans get out positioned and can't really get anywhere on the map. Sure.
The you know, from my point of view, they're both like kind of similar, where they have that unbelievable strong late game. You're definitely right that kind of like mid-game, early mid-game, like army engagements in the center, Sulky is definitely the best at. But when I think about the biggest difference between the two, in my opinion, it's like I would trust Sulky more to beat a player like Royal, and I would trust Hero more to beat a player more like Sharp, right? So like Hero is like straight power, and then Sulky has enough mixing in and risks to take down like a very dangerous percentage play, right? Where it's like he might just pick up that win against like a Royal with some crazy, cheesy, you know, aggressive technical build. But looks like
Sulky will like 7 pool and stuff like that. We got a bunker rush coming here. 3 drones are going to be trying to moving shot onto this Marine. The second Marine's going to come over here and try to get in the way. The body blocking does end up working. 1 Marine is going to go down, and that's going to pull him back. Ideally, I think Terran would want to get 1 or 2 more drones than that.
Yeah, it was not an 8 barracks, though. It was just a,
you
know, just a Marine rally. The reason he can do this is Citadel is, like, basically the smallest map for close position spawns that we have. So he could kind of run over there even with a normal barracks timing. So that was kind of a cute move. I'm surprised he made the bunker, but the bunker is what forces the drones to come fight you. If you're not making the bunker, the drones just run and then Lings come out. So that was well planned. Like that's a good type of move. And killing, like trading a canceled bunker and 1 Marine for a drone is like okay, I think. Not like fantastic, but it's like okay, you know, that could have even gone better for Sharp. It didn't, and that's fine. But an okay opener from our Terran boy here.
Our scouting SCV is going to see that this is a Spire that's being produced here. They're pretty close in proximity. This is a pretty quick Spire here from the Zerg. So this is developing just like any other standard TVZ. We don't have any weird kind of mech play from Sharp. I don't think we will probably in this series either. But at the same time, it's going to be Zerg taking a 3rd base. We'll see if he takes the main. There's been a little bit of meta play about where people expand. Like, taking the natural as an example, people always scan the mains. It can cause confusion for the Terran as far as, where they need to be trying to attack and put pressure on.
Yeah, and also, like, it makes that fourth base even easier to take. If you secure the third, you just kind of send your drone over, and the only way they can attack is via dropship, which is, every Zerg has in their head when the dropships kind of start, that general range. So, excuse me, generally they'll have, the Muta's back or some Scourge out, something ready for that. Now, Sharp is trying to put on a little bit of pressure with this 2 Barracks Academy rush. This is a great catch on that medic. Very nice from Sharp to send that back like that. And, dude, he just barely gets it. That was really high-quality plays from both sides right there, actually. I like that.
Yeah, we've got the Muta's about to hatch. The infantry are going to push in here. He's going to have this one in the front to make an Evo chamber if he needs to, so you can't just A-click through. But so far, not doing too much here. The Lings are going to come in and thin out these Marine numbers, but I still see a decent amount of damage coming here. Artosis.
Yeah,
I mean, as long as the medic can just heal the sunk that's hitting the Marine, I think he should be able to take this. You can see that he's actually microing the sunk and trying to mix up which one is going to do damage. But now these 2 Marines are here. The Mutas haven't hatched yet. Now those drones are going to get killed off.
Dude, another high-quality move here from Sharp. Like, he is putting on some very good pressure. He kills a couple drones, both the sunks. Like, you have to be pretty happy with that overall. He's even scouted with his SCV where that third base location is. So there's no secrets here. Sharp knows everything that's going on. He's getting his turrets up in time. He's sending some fire bats out on the map to, maybe hopefully stim down and catch a drone later on. And you can see that's even buying him time against the Mutas. Sharp is coming out with a very strong game number 1.
Yeah, so far so good. More Marines are going to be produced over here. It looks like we're going to have the range upgrade for the Marines finishing up in a second. But yeah, Sharp buys a lot of time. We've got a nice ring of turrets being placed out here on the map. It doesn't seem like there's any kind of obvious weak point the Zerg can hit in, other than, I guess, this barracks, which is just going to get floated into the main anyways.
Yeah, right now the Muta's trying to get a little bit of something done here. Killing off this depot. Like, it's reasonable. You go up, you kill the depot, you're doing a little bit of harassment,
kind of mech play from Sharp. I don't think we will probably in this series either. But at the same time, it's going to be Zerg taking a third base. We'll see if he takes the main. There's been a little bit of meta play about where people expand. Like taking the natural as an example, since people always scan the mains, it can cause confusion for the Terran as far as, you know, where they need to be trying to attack and put pressure on.
Yeah, and also, like, it makes that fourth base even easier to take. If you secure the third, you just kind of send your drone over, and the only way they can attack is via dropship, which is, you know, every Zerg has in their head when the dropships kind of start, you know, that general range. So, excuse me, generally they'll have, you know, the Muta's back or some Scourge out, something ready for that. Now, you know, Sharp is trying to put on a little bit of pressure with this 2 Barracks Academy rush. This is a great catch on that medic. Very nice from Sharp to send that back like that. And, dude, oh, he just barely gets it. That was really high-quality plays from both sides right there, actually. I like that.
Yeah, we've got the Muta's about to hatch. The infantry are going to push in here. He's going to have this one in the front to make an Evo chamber if he needs to, so you can't just A-click through. But so far, not doing too much here. The Lings are going to come in and thin out these Marine numbers, but I still see a decent amount of damage coming here. Artosis.
Yeah,
I mean, as long as the medic can just heal the sunk that's hitting the Marine, I think he should be able to take this. You can see that he's actually microing the sunk and trying to mix up which one is going to do damage. But now these 2 Marines are here. The Mutas haven't hatched yet. Now those drones are going to get killed off.
Dude, another high-quality move here from Sharp. Like, he is putting on some very good pressure. He kills a couple drones, both the sunks. Like, you have to be pretty happy with that overall. He's even scouted with his SCV where that third base location is. So there's no secrets here. Sharp knows everything that's going on. He's getting his turrets up in time. He's sending some fire bats out on the map to, you know, maybe hopefully stim down and catch a drone later on. And you can see that's even buying him time against the Mutas. Sharp is coming out with a very strong game number 1.
Yeah, so far so good. More Marines are going to be produced over here. It looks like we're going to have the range upgrade for the Marines finishing up in a second. But yeah, Sharp buys a lot of time. We've got a nice ring of turrets being placed out here on the map. It doesn't seem like there's any kind of obvious weak point the Zerg can hit in, other than, I guess, this barracks, which is just going to get floated into the main anyways.
Yeah, the right now the Muta's trying to get a little bit of something done here. Killing off this depot. Like, you know, it's reasonable. You go up, you kill the depot, you're doing a little bit of harassment, a little bit of pressure, but it's not super, super valuable, right? So Sharp's, like, defense right now is good. His factory timing is very nice. Look at this. The firebat comes down and is causing lost mining time. Maybe it's not killing anything, but causing that lost mining time in and of itself. You know, he's... How much gas is he costing him here? 100 gas? 150 gas? It really, there's, like, a lot of very small things that are going Sharp's way.
We don't have a Queen's Nest yet, so we're not going to have a hive for the time being. We do have 3 gases being mined, although there was that interruption that Artosis pointed out. But for now, Hero seems to be really locked into the Mutas. I actually didn't see when he clicked on the Muta. Is there an armor upgrade or an attack upgrade, Artosis?
Oh, I actually didn't check, but I don't think so. I guess we'll see. But yeah, he's continuing with this micro, just kind of dogging the Marine medic army. Kills off a medic there. Oh, that's kind of an interesting move there from Sharp. He's being, like, very aggressively attacking the Mutas. I'm surprised with that scan. But double starport already. You know, Sharp is so funny, man. Like, you can tell it's him because he always macros in a vertical line. It's so weird. He's the only Terran that does this. Like, seriously.
It's just funny tell.
Yeah, he does it in every matchup. He builds his, like, everyone tries to clump it all together so it's in one screen. He doesn't care how many screens it's in, man. He'll just make this giant vertical line of macro structures. It's so weird.
Yeah, it's so funny. It's one of these, like, little fingerprints you could see in the game. Without seeing his ID, you'd know it's him just because of the weird layout of his buildings.
Yeah.
He did fraction off a little bit of the infantry. They're now wrapping around the bottom. Now, Hero's been somewhat greedy. He doesn't have any sunken colonies at that natural expansion, which means that infantry can get in there. They could kill all of the drones.
Mm-hmm. But, you know, Sharp has done, you know, he's had all these good things happen in the opening. Oh, my God. He gets Marines into the third, man. He's killing a ton of drones here. This is an amazing game from Sharp here so far. And, in fact, more drones were coming down. He's going to catch even more. These 4 Marines doing really magnificently. Sharp is very far ahead right now. Very far ahead.
I even like how I love how he sends these 2 Marines out just to make sure that he can try to kill a few more drones if there's time. So the mutas come down. He did get that air attack upgrade. At this point, I feel like Sharp is in probably the best position he could ever wish for.
Yes.
In this game. He's looking really solid. He just needs to not mess up with his forces. Keep in mind, Hero's very good at flattening Terrans in the mid-game.
Mm-hmm. It looks so good for Sharp. I really expect a Sharp victory here in this first game. Like, you know, from the first little fake kind of bunker rush into the sunken bust into, you know, just kind of running around with a few Marines, trying to with the fire bats, having his turrets up in time. His vessels are going to be out very shortly here. Irradiate's already on the way. He's on 5 barracks. He's continuing his upgrades. There's so many good, strong things happening for Sharp here. And if he can just keep this up, I mean, he's going to start with a map victory.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, Artosis. He's now getting the science vessels out here. This means the Mutalisks are going to have to respect what Terran has. They can't just kind of orbit around and try to take pot shots wherever. You know, and it's funny, Sharp really does like to dive on these mutas. He's much more aggressive in these fights than a lot of other Terrans are.
Well, yeah, he's really trying to maintain some pressure out here on the map. Now, Niduses are coming up. Lurkers are out. Defiler Mound is on the way right now, so he will be getting that consume going. But already dropships. So he went 2 vessels into dropships, and this is definitely something that you can do. But when you're playing against your opponents, and they take the natural base, the natural is very tight. So it's easy to defend with just a few lurkers, which means these dropships have to go towards the main base, which is going to be a little bit harder to pull off, I think.
Yeah. Zerg should expect this. There's a very specific moment in the game. The fact that there's not more vessels coming over here could telegraph the intentions of this as well.
Yeah, look at this. He's kind of bringing the dropships in a funny way. It looks like he might want to drop the back of this natural, but again, if you have lurkers around, you can kind of clear that quickly. He's drawing the mutas out. He did throw 1 irradiate down the mutas, but it was a very quick split. Let's see what he gets done with this drop. He's definitely going to get some Marines, but a little bit hard to force damage when you're back here.
Yeah, he's going to try to unload. One set of Scourge is going to connect onto the dropship, and there's just not enough material that's been unloaded to where the Zerg is going to lose that fight. Now, the natural is not being mined from. It is possible he could just try to stim and attack in. Is that 1 lurker or is that many lurkers?
I believe that's 3 lurkers that's stacked there.
Okay.
And he does throw down the Dark Storm as well, so that is going to stop that. You know, the drops, they kind of get off. Not the greatest drops right there. I am a little bit surprised they went 2 vessels into drops just because, again, when they take the natural base, it's harder to attack. If they take a main base as their third, it gives you this huge amount of area that you can work with, right? Where there's 2 main bases that you could drop. But in this situation, there's not a great place this early in the game. So not fantastic, but he's still ahead.
Okay. He is going to have to back up for a second. More vessels are meeting up here. No 4th base yet, by the way, for Zerg. You know, when you don't have a 4th base like that, it becomes a bit of a problem, especially as Terran's going to out-expand here. The game may slow down. We're going to have, you know, the back and forth of Irradiates hitting Defilers and Dark Swarms continuing to blanket and re-blanket, or maybe even a Plague over here. Nicely done, hitting those vessels. But it's unlikely that the Terran will break the Zerg.
Yeah, it is going to take a while. He's going to have to kind of grind him down, which is, you know, pretty normal. Like, you don't kill, like, Zerg thirds or naturals very often. If they get up to the Defiler, they're kind of invincible. It's all about denying that additional gas. So that's going to be something that Sharp does have to think about how he wants to approach that, right? Because Hero's locked down right now. Like, you're not likely to kill him. And he's going to take that 4th in the bottom left. So it's like, okay, do we go dropships again and try to attack that? Are we going to go, like, battle cruisers and try to put on pressure like that? You know, there are a few different options that he can go about here. And he is going to have to, like, still do it very decisively. Because Zergs can come back from these positions. Even though he's behind, even though it looks very kind of bad for him after the opening Sharp has had, he's got his tech. He's got his Evos going, right? Like, he's building towards this end game that can be so strong still.
I really like the Spore colony at the natural. Because he's plaguing the vessels, now, like, you can't even get in there and irradiate because the Spore would one-shot your vessels.
Yeah.
Just really nice defense here from Hero. With the Nidus network connecting both of the naturals together, it's easy to have a Defiler pop in and pop out. It's also great to try to avoid irradiates. They try to get, you can see this science missile incoming. You can basically run it through the Nidus, and suddenly the targeting just unlocks.
Yeah, yeah, it is such a good defense, and that forward spore is so popular right now, Tasteless. It is a heartbreaker because you just see it and you know all your vessels are red, and you're like, all right, I guess not. We're not going to irradiate any of those lurkers. You're pretty invincible right there. And that's exactly what it's doing. He has actually repaired quite a bit, does some great cloning on those irradiates, going to get multiple defilers here, and I think a lurker as well. So Sharp is doing a very good job managing everything. Look at this. He's on 4 base, and he's got 500 minerals, 300 gas. Even the very best macro players in this matchup will go up to 2,000 minerals sometimes in this spot. So, like, Sharp is playing out of his mind. He is completely on fire right now.
That new main that he's taking, that could be the Achilles heel for Hero here. By the way, you could see just how bad plagued even fire bats are versus Zerglings. They just get popped like balloons. But I think we're going to have a big 4 dropship drop up in the 4th base here. And there's not really lurkers here, so denying this would be huge for Sharp.
Okay, let's see if he actually gets this. Now, a burrow goes down. Does he have a Dark Swarm? Oh my god, he's trying to get one down, and he gets it on the 1 lurker. But again, this is a big main with like a lot of room to micro. I do think he should be able to pick everything off. In fact, he could probably get that Nidus over the wall, which would be huge as well. Sharp getting the damage he needed. Look at that. That 4th base going to pop. Very tough situation here for Hero. He's going to have to remake that immediately.
Yeah, I mean, that 4th base was the only thing that Hero really had going for himself. Now we're going to get the Terran onto 5 bases while the Zerg is on 3. Since Zerg can't really move out, Terran can't really move in other than that drop we saw earlier. We're going to get to that battle cruiser tech here in a second. And this is another great way to just slow the Zerg down.
I like that taste. Just being a Protoss player, you don't even know the name of the unit, the end-game Terran unit, because it just can't be used against you.
I've never seen it before in a game. I'm like, what? That's right. I forgot they have that.
You're like, oh, I saw that when I used to play BGH. Sick. Okay.
Yeah. Jim Raider was in one of those. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, Battle Cruiser can be really good late-game tech if your opponent is going for an Ultralisk-based approach, which is what we see here. That Ultralisk Cavern is in the main base. But Hero continues to hold on, right? Like, if he can just keep holding on, then maybe he can still make a game of it. Huge drop in the main base, though, and Hero not in a great position to stop this. That's a lot of fire bats. Man, we're getting to the end. Like, this is so much damage going down.
Yeah, he's going to try to come in again. This is really starting to wear Hero down. He is probably just barely going to hold this off with the 1 Ultralisk. But again, Zerg is almost below 100 supply right now. Terran is looking so comfortable here.
Yeah, and it's when you're playing against Defiler, it's right around that 70 supply where Zerg will just suddenly break. They just have nothing left. So he still has enough to hold on at 105. Like, he can still, oh god, an Eraser here is beautiful.
Oh, I love this so much.
This is a perfect move.
Yeah, this is exactly what you want to be doing in situations like this. Now the drones have to be remade. Terran does lose control of the position on the map here. He's not able to, sit outside the natural. So you got to be a little bit careful, because if a couple lurkers and defilers set up and start to dark swarm your bases, you can lose control of the game.
I tell you what, Tasteless, this really is a new Sharp this season. His macro here is so good. His play is really cleaner than it normally is in this matchup. The fact that he's going up to a 5th base again, he tried, but it got canceled. He's going for it again. He's keeping his money exceedingly low. He's got battle cruisers, drops, vessels absolutely everywhere. This is truly impressive. Like, if you showed me this game and I didn't see the building layout, I'd be like, yeah, this might be JYJ, this might be Light, right? One of these guys that is just so on top of their macro, pressuring everywhere at once. This is a good look for this series right now.
It's kind of insane, man. I'm just not used to seeing Sharp kind of strong-arm Zerg like hero, you know, of all players.
Yeah.
He's played a really clean game from start to finish, even from just getting that first drone, you know, with the fake bunker rush. And I think this game is almost certainly going to end here with a Terran victory, unless there's some huge catastrophic, like he right-clicks the whole army through lurkers into Dark Swarm. I don't see a world where Terran loses this game.
Yeah, I think you'd have to be going Hydra, Lurker, Defiler to have a better shot. Hero here has chosen the Ultralisk tech, which is a lot easier to deal with when you're this far ahead. You know, you can just continue to mass up BCs, continue to hit really great irradiates all over the place because they can't really zone you out. Maybe he'll start to try to get some more Hydras or something like that. You know, because that's one of the big ways you deal with things like the Mass Vessel and BC late game is you just plague them and the Hydras help to zone things. And you see he is using some Hydras here to try to counter that, but doesn't have those upgrades yet. You know, Sharp is just, he's applying so much pressure right now, and Hero having the hardest time holding on.
Yeah, and you know, it's funny, Scourge, you'd think they would naturally counter battlecruisers, but they're so expensive, and battlecruisers can one-shot Scourge down. So the Zerg just ends up burning through a lot of gas that could have potentially been Ultralisks or Defilers or Lurkers.
And Hero here is on 4 bases, so let's give him that, but we're up in the 20-minute plus category, so he's going to have an empty main geyser. His natural geyser is likely very, very close to empty. Some Ultras starting to come out, but as you can see, they can't really do too much. Has to throw that Darkstorm down before losing his Ultras. Irradiates absolutely everywhere. BC's continuing to pour on the damage. And now another drop to this base, but this drop looks like it should be cleaned up pretty easily.
Yeah, the battlecruisers are getting in such high numbers, they can actually come in here and kill the drones off. There are enough vessels here. I think you can start to just chain. Oh my gosh, he actually just unloads enough. It doesn't even matter. I kind of gave up on that drop back there, to be honest. That's crazy.
Yeah, and GG.
All right, there it is, GG.
Damn.
Wow. That's sick, man.
Yeah.
That's really, really wild. That you know, we were spending the entire pre-show talking about how Sharp would never win a game and it wouldn't look like that. And he just did he just totally proved us wrong. I got to say, this is a totally next level Sharp here. He's looking better than he has ever looked in the ASL.
He absolutely looked fantastic. The key moment was the 4 Marines hitting bottom left and killing all those drones. If that doesn't happen, the entire game looks different, and I'm not saying that Sharp doesn't still win, but what happens if he doesn't get all those drone kills? Because that's the type of moment where when you do that as a good Terran, you're like, this game's mine. You know, you just continually apply pressure after that, and the Zerg has a really hard time coming back when you get that many drones for the measly cost of 4 Marines. So, you know, that's kind of the thing I'm going to be looking at going forward, because it was a beautifully played game from Sharp, but he did get that big advantage in the very early mid-game with the 4 sneaky Marines. So, you know, that's going to be something that Hero has to look out for in the upcoming games.
So we're going to take a quick look back here. This was, I think, well selected this time by our highlights, whoever's doing the highlights here at ASL. Getting that hatchery was huge. Right as players were starting to grow out, Zerg taking a 4th and Terran taking a 3rd and a 4th, he was able to snipe that 4th hatchery, which means you don't get that 4th gas out as quickly. And really, it's all about the gas for the Zerg in this matchup. You want to have enough gas so you can keep remaking lurkers so that, you know, the irradiates don't just kill them. You can keep making defilers. Both sides, but especially the Zerg, are just going to be losing units staying alive. There's not a whole lot you can do to stop irradiate. And then we had another huge drop here in the main. I thought this one was going to do a little bit better. But again, another massive interruption here, even killing the Ultralisk cavern.
Yeah, you got the Spire as well with this, which is pretty sick. A good hold from Hero, you know, with the Plague, with the Ultra and the Darkstorm and everything. But yeah, I mean, obviously, Sharp continuing to just apply that pressure. He macroed like a god. He attacked everywhere all the time. It was a superbly played game from Sharp. Like, I'll probably rewatch that later. That was a beautiful one to learn from. Few drone kills can make, and how a Terran vs Zerg plays out is substantial. So you can't guarantee, you know, the 6-7 drone kills that he got in that early mid game every game. So when that doesn't happen, when Hero is in a better position during Mutalisk harassment, can Sharp still pull out a game of this quality and break through? I don't know. But that's really what I'm looking for, because this is a 7-game series. Best of 3, totally favoring him right now. I'm like, he's playing like a god. You mix the cheese in, you might just get him right away, right? But this is a best of 7. Hero has time to come back right now.
So game 2 is going to be really important. Can Hero clean up the early game a little bit? You don't normally see anybody get the upper hand on Hero. I feel like he might have the best early game sometimes in all of StarCraft. Like, he's just so clean. But Sharp did it. So Sharp's going to have to really keep this going on, because I think you're totally right, Artosis. The way that Hero got tripped up early on definitely rippled into the mid game and the late game, giving Sharp that edge. We're going to go to Troy now here for map number 2. As this semifinal match between these two players continues on. Okay, Hero in the top left, Sharp in the bottom right. Before we get into this game, guys, we're going to do our quick plug for the Patreon. It's patreon.com/ASL English. We love you guys. We appreciate you. Because of you, we are still able to keep doing this, to keep the history of StarCraft alive in the English language. So thank you so much. And if you haven't signed up already, we hope you consider doing so.
Yeah, thank you very much, guys. It's been a wonderful season. And, you know, here's to many more. I don't know. This is really the highlight a couple times of my year is the ASL season. It's just so much fun to follow these top players, see who's playing really well. Everyone's putting a ton of effort in right now. The scene is super, super vibrant. So thank you guys again for checking out the Patreon.
Yeah, the only thing I could ask for more is more ASL seasons, right? It'd be nice to have a third or even a fourth, right?
Yeah, I would love a third ASL season. That would be out of control, man. That would be so sick.
And so, you know, with these two here, I got to say, I'm more excited casting game 2 now than I was even before the series started, because now I'm seeing that Sharp can absolutely hang and play and take Hero on.
Totally. Yeah, I can't disagree with that. You know, I came in and I'm like, just knowing the way that these two play, I don't feel like Sharp. You know, I feel like the best I was hoping for just coming in blind was Hero over Sharp 4-2. Okay, that was kind of my gut feeling. It was like, okay, maybe this is like a 4-2. That first game shows me that it might go the other way. Maybe we do get a Terran in the finals. You know, that's always the best type of finals, is when we have a Terran player. 1, 2, you know, any amount. But
well, you know what's crazy is for him to get to the finals of all players too.
Yeah.
I mean, we all know Sharp's really good. If you've been watching ASL, he's probably one of the players you're most familiar with. He's in basically every ASL we ever have. But you know, I think for me and probably for everybody else, you just kind of get used to him not getting that deep. You know, like so many of the other players that we're familiar with. Yeah. It's so tough in every ASL because the competition is so fierce. But what a wild story that would be, that he gets to the finals.
Yeah. If you you know, put a gun to my head and you're like, which Terran's making the finals in a given season or even round of 4, I'd have to say like Rush. You know, maybe Light, because I'm always you know, standing for Light, as all Terran players are. But you know, it's never Sharp that I'm really thinking of. Sharp is like a round of 16 guy in my mind a lot of the time. But yeah, he's playing great. We're on Troy now, which is kind of an insane map, but no crazy openings here. This looks all pretty standard overall. And, you know, if you play like a standard game on Troy, I do think that it is for sure Zerg favored at that point. It's just like, because of Niduses, you can actually just make a bunch of islands and jump everything around with Niduses, which is already... That's how Zerg moves anyways. When's the last time you saw a Zerg take units from their main base and run to their third with it? It's super rare, right? After Hive Tech is up, you never actually walk anywhere with your Zerg army. Everything travels through Nidus anyways. So yeah, I think that does make it a little bit harder on Terran, where it's like, okay, you have to utilize things like battle cruisers and dropships. You can't just go in through the front door most of the time.
Looks like Sharp wanted to snipe this Overlord, but Hero's going to get away just in time here.
Hey there.
These will be fine.
And you kind of alluded to this, Artosis, but I always want to say this every time we cast this map. These neutral assimilators that you see at the entrance of the main bases, if you destroy those, these become islands. So this is a very unique map in that sense. It's a bit of a controversial map, because of that. But I think this is what makes RTS so great, is that we can take these different ideas and put them on a map, and if it's good, we can use it for several seasons or forever, and if it's bad, it's like, okay, well, we'll throw it out and try something different.
Well, that's kind of the nice thing about ASL is they always mix in a crazy map. But look at this. Speedling's coming in, getting around Sharp's Marines. This is bad news for Sharp. He does a little run back with the Marines. He tries to drill with the SCVs, but this is a huge advantage for Hero. A huge advantage. He finds Sharp being too greedy, and now... Oh, dude. Sharp's dead.
I think he's dead.
This is an anticlimactic game number 2, unfortunately. He just played a little bit greedy. His Marines were slightly out of position. He didn't make a bunker. And Hero just does like a complete Ling all-in and smashes him.
Very cool. And now all that hard work from game 1 has been completely wiped out. They're tied up 1-1. Not all StarCraft games are created equally, but they do score the same, guys. So the Ling all-in and the Ling all-in from Hero. You know, I was saying, it's so funny, we could not have been more wrong with everything we said about play styles and how they were going to come into this. Hero actually does go for an all-in, and I think a pretty smart one. Sharp was being a little bit greedy. He was trying to snipe overlords on the map. Hero's so known for having very careful, solid, economic early game that Sharp was a little bit too cavalier with the forces he had. He moved out, and he got punished.
You know, that's a bit painful. You gotta be a little bit more careful about things. The thing is, if you know that your opponent generally doesn't make a bunker, you can get a free win like that. Like, some players are allergic to bunkers, and they'll just be like, no, man, I gotta optimize everything, and then they lose a game like that, and it's like, well, maybe next time, man. We're tied up 1-1. We're basically going to a best of 5. I don't think Sharp's gonna let that one bother him too much. Retro going to be our next map here. Sharp's pick. See if he's able to take it down like he was able to take down Citadel.
All right, guys, we're going to hop into this game right now. Hero with that super fast win. Sharp definitely a little bit greedy and got punished for it. But of course, Hero can't really do that every game, right? So let's see what happens as we go into game number 3. Is Hero going to go back into macro? Will he try to cheese? And is Sharp going to be a little bit less greedy? Let's go. Okay, Sharp in the top right, Hero in the bottom left.
Yeah. So, you know, Retro TVZ, I generally look at it as like a pretty normal map for the matchup. It is just kind of like, you know, the layout of the bases doesn't affect this matchup as much as some of the others. I think the win rate has gone slightly Terran favored at the pro level for this map. And I think it's like, if you look at what Sharp's picks are, right? Citadel was his first pick, Retro was his second pick. He's going for maps that are just like pretty standard overall. Whereas you see Hero, like he wanted Troy, and that doesn't surprise him because we were talking about how, like, if we do get to late game, unite us around and everything. But oh, we're gonna have an 8 racks at least here. Might even be a BBS.
Yeah, he's going to send this SCV right into the middle. You can build there right around these minerals. Yeah. And it's going to be that first barracks. Barracks on 8.
So this will be a barracks on 8 followed by a factory. And that'll be kind of interesting because Sharp doesn't do super technical builds too often, but there's like a lot of variety on how you can follow this up, right? You can do some sort of crazy aggressive vulture play. You can go into 2-port Wraith. That's actually been a little bit trendy lately in Terran vs. Zerg. But first, he's going to try to get at least a little bit of pressure, a little bit of damage done. Generally, with this build, you will make 3 Marines, but sometimes you can make 4. So we'll see about that.
Now, this is, you know, with Hatchery first, this is kind of this is like a real nightmare as far as who picks what build here. Mm-hmm. He's going to have a couple Marines. The The Zerglings are going to be far out. We have a drone coming out on the map, but I don't believe this is a cross scout. This looks like it's actually going to coast through the bottom. And so, well, hold on. He's going up to the middle. He's going to check. Wow. Okay, so he sees it.
Definitely.
That's huge.
An excellent scout. He can do a lot of things here. Like, he can hold some larva for more lings. He can make sure that his drones are out on time. Also, he knows it's 1 barracks and not 2, which is very, very important information. If it's 2 barracks, you actually need to give this up. Against 1, you can bring drones and try to surround. But here, like, Sharp is looking for some drone kills. He doesn't have to kill him, though. He can transition into a very normal game from here as well.
Okay, the drones are going to come out. Terran wants to back up. This is a lot of lost mining time, keep in mind. He's going to target down a few more drones. He gets one right up here at the top and gets another kill there. Good control here from Sharp. The final surround on that last Marine, as the 2 SCVs and the Marines are going to, and the 1 Marine, excuse me, will continue to pursue this.
And he gets like 3 drones here so far. Is he going to get a 4th? Oh! No, just barely not. Sharp's going to still dive on that 4th, man. He wants that one so bad. Oh, he gets 1 moving shot. Oh! It slips past.
Please go. He's going to try to get away. If he gets enough HP, it'll have to be 2 shots instead of 1 for the SCV to kill it. Hero's control is looking pretty good.
Dude, yeah out jukes him there. Up. And look at that, he puts the shot down with the drone as well. Oh, the disrespect. Okay, so that...
Wild.
Yeah, he ends up holding it. He does end up losing like 3 drones, so it's still okay for Sharp, right? There's nothing inherently wrong, I would say, with this position. Obviously, you're looking for more than that, but a lot of this comes down to Sharp's follow-up, which we can see that he's made 1 Vulture, he's gone add-on, he's gone Starport. Very likely, this will be a Vulture drop.
Yeah, I really like this. This could be really, really strong.
The thing is, there is already 1 sunken up, and Hero knows that this is a factory behind. Like, as soon as you see 1 8 racks in the center of the map, you can't expand after that. Well, that would be the ultimate mind game, would be to not go for the factory. Like, that might be doable at the top level, because basically what happens is if you have 1 8 racks in the center, once they hold, because you never actually kill the hatchery with 8 racks, it's like super rare. But once they hold, if they just send lings across the map, you're dead because your barracks is in the center and you lost all your Marines, right? So you have to have the Vulture basically as a follow-up. So he's aware, and he has his Overlord over the natural. So he's kind of watching, like, was this just factory command center, or was this factory 1 or 2 starports? And you can see he's already at the Hydralisk Den. A Wraith is coming out. We don't know if it'll be a drop. It doesn't have to be the drop that I was talking about before. Like, you can play it normal from here. Like, he could go, just utilize some Vultures either with speed or mines to kind of, like, control the map a little bit and go into, like, he could go Valkyries, he could go a Science Vessel and Marines, right? Like, there's a big range here for Sharp, but just knowing that there's, like, a starport, that there's Vultures out, hopefully Hero is able to kind of seal everything up with his Hydras.
We don't have any dropship coming here. Or no add-on, at least, so it's a little bit far away. The Hydra spread is looking pretty nice. I gotta say, I feel like Hero is recovering pretty well. It's a little bit scary for Terran on 1 base. It can be done, but you're gonna have to either start to do a lot of damage soon, or you're gonna have to expand really quickly.
Yeah, and he is making that command center on the high ground, kind of hiding it away, making it non-obvious as to what he's doing. Like I mentioned, right now, 2-port Wraith is actually a pretty popular build in Terran vs. Zerg. We've seen that for about a year, like JYJ used against Sulky, and in that ASL as well that he won. Obviously, that's not what's going on here. I actually didn't notice what that building was above the barracks. I assume, yeah, that's an engineering bay. And he's going to go Cloak. So this is a very old 1-1-1 style where you go 3 Wraiths with Cloak. And that just kind of... It makes it so that you don't die to the Mutalisks, right? Like, the Wraiths are not going to be utilized for harassment or anything. You're just kind of using them to make sure Mutas don't end up killing you. And it looks like I love the quick evo. If you remember the old 1-1-1 builds that we had back around ASL Season 5 or so, the way that the Zergs kind of figured out how to deal with it, if you get that quick +1 armor and you just kind of mass up, it's like You can have like Lings and Lurkers and some Mutas and all that. These very technical 1-1-1 builds generally have a hard time actually finishing the game off, and then they're behind on important things like upgrades.
Now, what happens if Zerg just gets Overlord speed? Can't you just chase all the Wraiths down and then get into a much better position?
Well, the thing is, these are just buying him time. Like, oh wow, is that an overcommitment right there? Okay, he does have a cloak. So if you get Overlord speed, which he probably should end up getting, because this harassment is going on, like light harassment on his mutas, but Sharp is going to go into a normal game. Like, he'll go Science Vessels from here, he'll go Marines and Medics from here, and he'll just have, like, the normal anti-Mutalisk army. The Wraiths are kind of like this weird bridge that you're using because of your opening, where you kill the Overlords that are near you, you get some scouting intel with them, because these are two things that are issues for a build like this, and then you just defend.
Looks like he's just barely going to knock at that one Wraith. The other one is just out of range. The SCV is going to glide by this. Mutas don't have great vision range, so I don't know if he's going to be able to go there and intercept that one SCV that's heading down. With the third base being taken at 9 o'clock, it's going to be pretty hard for Terran to push over there. I know that there are 2 ramps, technically, that go up into those bases, but you really only have one. Because you're probably not going to be right outside the Zerg's natural and then run up to the ramp, to their ramp to that base.
Yeah, that's very true. It's you know, he's going for like siege tanks. He's going for science vessels. Obviously, his barracks are coming up now as well. But I feel like Hero has kind of like the optimal stuff to deal with this right now. He is definitely working towards Defilers at the moment, adding in some more Mutalisks as well. He knows that there's not going to be like this overwhelming amount of Irradiates or anything, because it is like, this is the standard follow-up. Like this type of play, it's kind of like old, but as soon as you see that they go for a Wraith, it's like, okay, this might be like the 3 Wraith in a tank science vessel type of push. And if Hero can just stall it out and get to Defiler play, ooh, a Queen, I love it. Yeah, if he can get to that Defiler play, he's going to be in a good spot, because like this build doesn't transition super well into like a huge 2 eBay, 2 starport, you know, pressure everywhere type of play. It takes a little bit longer.
So does he want to try to ensnare?
Yeah.
The Wraith, very cool.
Yeah.
You could even ensnare some Marines too. Ensnare's actually really, really undervalued. It's like quite a good ability.
When people ask what is the most likely unit to come into like heavy usage in the coming years, I always say Queen. And he actually gets a Muta there. If he had gotten the Queen, he would have felt so good. Yeah, the Queen, like, Ensnare is really strong. It doesn't just slow the Marines, it also slows their rate of fire. So it basically equalizes stim, right? It makes it so you're basically playing against non-stim Marines. And that's incredibly strong, of course. And yeah, you can ensnare the Wraiths, and it reveals those. It's a very good play. I really like seeing this Queen mixed in here from Hero.
So we saw him parasite the science vessel. I think a lot of people watching might forget, but there is an upgrade called Restoration that you get on the medics, so that you can force them to make that, and that'll get rid of parasite. Zerg don't have any, Protoss don't have any kind of way to fix that, any kind of panacea versus the parasite other than to kill the unit. Looks like he's got enough mutas here. I think he can basically take this fight. Yeah, he's gonna have to back off. Also, keep in mind, guys, you can infest a command center with a Queen. We don't really see it often, but if you have a Queen or two out on the map, and this game looks like it's going to go on for a while now, right? It's always possible a 3rd or a 4th command center could end up getting infested, which would be huge.
That would be amazing. It actually can be really, really strong. But yeah, he did use the parasite. One thing about the way he clumped the Queen in with the mutas, like, he couldn't target it. And you saw Sharp was really trying to, and it's incredibly hard to do. He really wants that Queen dead. That's like a very annoying unit to play against. Now look at this. That one parasite setting up maybe a free kill. No, he pulls it back. No, he's going to... Oh, just barely saves it.
He's going to be able to chase his Queen down now. No, oh, great ensnare. And look at this. These Scourge can just fly right in here. That's crazy. We did have an Ultralisk Cavern that was made. So, you really want 4 gases or more for Ultras, but you can do it on 3. So just make them down to, like, a little bit of a fight here in the middle of the map to see who can actually take this.
Yeah, the Ultras, I think, are actually a pretty good choice. He got his carapace going really, really quickly this game. And you're just kind of like lower on units when you play this type of technical style that Sharp has played. Ooh, and he gets a Vessel. Oh my gosh. Very, very painful indeed. And there's also a Greater Spire. Dude, I think Hero is, like, strategically, he's doing really well here. The Queen was really smart. You're playing against one Starport, and he's already taken out most of the Wraiths. So the fact that he has the Greater Spire, that might open up our opportunities for Guardians to be very powerful. You know, with the quick Carapace, he can maybe get ahead in those upgrades, because generally you do kind of slow that down with a build like this from Sharp. There's like a lot of options here for Hero on how to play it going forward.
Yeah, this is looking so good right now for Hero. But, you know, a well-controlled army here in the middle of the map. Sharp might just take this. It should be about time for him to push here. He has one tank in that group, and I think that's all the tanks that he has. Or does he have more in his main, Artosis? I think I didn't see any.
I don't know if he went for
one or two. I
love
love the spider mine.
Yeah, those
Look
mines.
at the spider mine setup. It's so smart.
I really like that as well. That's very, very nice. He might get like a sick mine. He's actually really close.
Oh, God.
Okay, well, not that good, but still trying.
Yeah, but even planting the mines over at these bases to force Overlords to come over there, it's just so smart. Terran's actually going to blindly move up to the top left. There's no hatchery up here, by the way.
By the way, I just saw a really good piece of information. Sharp got +2 attack. So I wasn't sure what he was getting in the engineering bay, whether he had started +1 armor or +2 attack, and it looks like he actually got both now. So he actually has kept up on upgrades compared to the Ultralisks, which is very, very important. But look at this defense that we actually have from Hero. Like, he actually made 5 Guardians. He's got Sunkens everywhere. You know what? I think he thinks that a tank timing push is coming. But with the 2 Starports that are up now, the fact that he's kind of controlling the map with these Vultures, and he's already got 2-1, and I guarantee you Sharp has started 3-2 upgrades. Like, this is really not bad for Sharp. Like, I really loved how Hero played this, but I think Sharp's okay. I think he's done everything kind of right here.
I think he faked him out. I think he showed the one tank on purpose and then just pulled out of it and went to Vultures and Mines. So he basically tricked Hero into thinking that, like, this big tank push was going to come, but instead it's a pretty passive game here from Sharp.
Yeah, just getting those upgrades, making sure he has a big barracks count. He's got his starports producing, so the vessels are going to like scale nicely into the later portions of the game. And if he can cancel this base out, that's really, really huge. Now, right now his army is actually kind of segmented. It looks like half of it tried to go the other way. He is going to be able to force a cancel here. This is a scary army, though. Ensnare on the Marines plus Ultras running in can be very strong.
Okay, those Ultras are going to come now here with the Ensnares should come down here. He actually drops one Queen, and it doesn't really do any Ensnares at all. There are Ensnares